How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Ghost of Fear Street, number 8. This one's entitled The Ooze. This originally came out in May of 1996. The Fear Street series was created by R.L. Stine, but all the Ghost of Fear Street books were ghost-written, and if you want to find out who wrote each book, you just gotta flip open to the legal page, and it will tell you right there. The Ooze, written by Stephen Roos. Funny that it rhymes. But anyway, this one, I love the cover. You get the black cat touching the orange goo, and there's a little scary face hidden in the goo. And I really love that this is an actual scene taken right from the book. Chester, the goo being orange, it's exactly like it describes. Sometimes with these books you get covers that denote the feeling or the attitude of a book, but aren't exactly right. But this is literally a scene, one of the first scenes when you see the ooze. That's cool. The front of the book is right. The back does kind of try to lie to you. If you read the back summary, it talks about whoever touches the ooze is changed forever. And okay, it's not a flat-out lie, but it is definitely trying to get you to think that this book is scarier than it is. It's trying to get you to think that you become a monster or something. No, if you touch the ooze in this book, you actually get stupider. It's more of a weird science concept than it is a Tales from the Crypt concept. And the back is definitely trying to make it seem, because this is Fear Street, they're trying to make it seem scarier. And it's not super scary. There are some scary scenes, in particular the one scene in the book where they actually go to Fear Street. And there's some good ideas, but I feel for a book with the concept of touch the ooze and lose intelligence, you could go about it in two ways. You can do the horror, and they do some of the horror, and there is a scary element there about changing from who you are to a version of you that's less intelligent and feeling like you lose something of yourself and you become someone else. And what's this person going to do? What mistakes is he going to make? How will he ruin my life? There is a good bit of horror behind that. And another way you could go about this is comedy. Think the Futurama episodes where the brains come down and make everyone stupid. And there is some good comedy scenes in here, but it's not fully comedic and it's not fully scary. It is a large part just a kid's adventure book. And in turn, it is good. I did read through this book pretty fast. I found myself generally enjoying it, but it definitely is one that I kept thinking if they pushed this farther into the horror or into the comedy, it could have been way better. As it stands, though, it's a good, solid enough book with an interesting, different concept, but it's maybe not as fleshed out as it could be, but still, it's fine, just probably not the best of the series or anything. Anyway, in order to analyze it further, let's talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but going through and talking about a few plot points is a great way to dig in deeper and analyze this book better, but don't worry, I'll be avoiding talking about specifics of the end. Anyway, we open up with this kid named Al. Al, short for Albert, he's actually named after Albert Einstein, and his family is all huge nerds. The mom and dad both have science-related jobs, and they'll do things like sit on the couch in the middle of the day, and instead of watching TV, they'll be reading scientific journals. The older sister is a big nerd as well, and she's like in the chess club, and she's always going on and on about how the younger brother needs to take things more seriously and how much better she is. Yeah, an annoying older sibling character. But what I really like is where he starts out. He says he's not dumb. He's probably as smart as the rest of his family, but he just doesn't really care about scientific pursuits. He wants to go outside and enjoy his life. He's smart, he's just doesn't really care for science, which I do feel is an interesting place. Sometimes if you're good at some subjects, teachers might try to get you to care more, and it's like, no, just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I care. But when his birthday comes around, you get an example of his character. He had heavily implied, basically told his family he wanted roller skates, but what does he get? He gets a chemistry set. Yeah, people basically see the world from their perspective. A chemistry set would be a great gift for anyone else in the family. We don't even notice your hints. You wanted roller skates. No clue. Now, there is a bit where they say, don't play with your birthday present till your sister can give you some safety pointers. And of course his best friend comes over and talks him into playing with it anyway. So there is a bit of a morality lesson about lab safety and not messing with things you're not supposed to. So it's not too preachy, but it definitely is there, and you can definitely tell, okay, there's the moral section of this book. But anyway, his friend says, I want to make a stink bomb, and there just so happens to be instructions in there. Not instructions in the booklet, a handwritten note on a different colored piece of paper. And I do like that clue right off the bat. Hey, this is kind of sketchy. What's this doing in here? That being said, when we get to the explanation, the what's really going on here section, it's a little forced, but I won't go in any farther in that. Anyway, they decide to make the stink bomb, but it doesn't go up, and it doesn't ruin the sisters' chess club meeting or anything. However, it makes this big orange goo that they immediately, the kid has to hide from his parents because he doesn't want the parents to know he was fooling around with the chemistry set. However, while trying to hide it, both the cat and him touch the goo, and he wakes up the next morning feeling sluggish and groggy and not quite able to put things together. He's become dumber, but he doesn't know that right away, and I really do like the initial scenes of him learning about what happened, where he sees something and he gets pieces of information and he's not able to put them together, or maybe he's not learning to focus on the right thing. Something important will be happening over here, but because of the ooze, he doesn't know to focus on that, and he'll be looking at this or that or this fly, and his train of thought won't be focused and will just go all over the place. And let me tell you, I've definitely had a few days like that back in high school, where the teacher's going on about something and you'd much rather look at this random fly. That's a good scene and a good way to go about explaining it, and I wish more of the book were like that and pushed farther. As the book goes on, and he gets dumber, because of course he winds up touching the goo several times, we will get a few things like him forgetting which way a door goes in his own house, and putting his shoes on different feet, You do get some examples, but this book is told from a first-person point of view. I mean, maybe it would have been interesting if the book got almost illegible, just really getting in his thought process, and, when he gets distracted, maybe we do. Okay, the book might get almost unreadable by the end, maybe not. It's just when you're in first person, but he's still relatively comprehensible, yeah, it doesn't really convey the danger he's in, and I wish it got pushed further. Imagine getting so dumb that you almost forget how to breathe. Again, it's a good concept, and if you wanted to go horror, really could push it further. The Fear Street section in this book is a good example of how being dumber can be scary. There's a bully in the school that he's worried is going to beat him up, and he just starts running. And he thinks he's going home, but he gets totally lost within a few minutes and winds up on Fear Street and even wanders into the woods just because he's so convinced that the bully is right behind him. It's a good scene, the way you can see, like, he's clearly not in any danger, but if he keeps running and getting more and more lost, he really could be. Now, sadly, again, that's the only Fear Street section. This whole book does take place in Shadyside. I do wish we had more Fear Street stuff, because that was a really fun scene. Also, the bit with the comedy, again, it could be funnier. I do really like they don't notice that he's dumber, but the sisters taught the cat to do a bunch of amazing tricks, and the sister actually notices something wrong with the cat before she notices something's wrong with her brother, the poor guy. And there's also this thing, you know, they're building up to the science bowl. You know, it's like, hey, you're getting dumber, go perform special trivia science stuff in front of the whole school. And it does lead to a fun sequence there. Again, though, I really wish, you know, either the horror, the humor, or both was just amped up to an 11. It's funny, but not the funniest thing ever. The book does lead to a pretty decent climax, although, again, some of the elements of it are a little out of nowhere, and I'm not sure if they 100% make sense. So, a pretty fun ending with the secret of the ooze and all that. And overall, an okay Ghost of Fear Street book. Not terrible, I just wish it was different and pushed farther in a few ways. Overall, though, an interesting concept with an interesting story. And I did read through it pretty quick. It kept me engaged, so that definitely is something, although it's just probably not going to be the best of the series or anything, but still cool enough. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a playlist on the bottom. How about my R.L. Stine playlist? I've talked about lots of Goosebumps and Fear Street, and I even talked about Ghost of Fear Street #1, Hide and Shriek. So if you want to see more like this, you can click there and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.